In this video, I will show you how to send emails using ASP.NET and Brevo. So Brevo was called SendinBlue and now it is called Brevo. So first let's take a look on the price. Then transactional email. And here we can see that we can send up to 300 emails per day for free. But first we need to create an account. In my case, I already have an account, so I will just log in. So once you are connected, we have to click on transactional. And because I am already using Brevo, I have this dashboard. So now we have to click on settings. Then configuration. Then get your API key. So here we can see that I have already created this API key. Let's delete it. And let's create a new key. So let's call it first API key. Of course, you can call this key as you want. Now let's click on generate. Then let's copy this API key. Now let's save it in our project. So we need to save it in appsettings.json. So we can create a new key. Let's call it Brevo API. So it is an object. Then let's define a new key. So we can call it API key. And let's paste the key. Also, we can define additional keys. So let's define the sender email address. Let's call it sender email. And here we can save the email address that will be used to send the different emails. So we can use this email address as the sender email address. Then let's define the sender name. So here the sender name will be the name of our application. So this is all for this file. Let's save it. Let's close this box. And here we can click on read our documentation. So now we are on developers.brevo.com. Let's click on API reference, then transactional emails. So here we have an example. Let's select C# and let's follow this example. So first we need to install the Brevo package. So let's copy this name. Then right click on our project, then manage NuGet packages. So here we have to click on browse and let's paste the name of the package. So let's select it and let's install it. So now the package is installed correctly. We can close this page. Then let's copy the first statement of the main method. So this statement allows us to set the API key. And we need to add it to program.cs, which is this file. So we can add it just here, for example. Then we need to replace this value by the API key that we have in appsettings.json, which is this API key. So let's delete this and let's write builder, which is this variable dot configuration, then brackets, then between double quotes we have to provide the name of the key. So we have first to provide this key, then colon, then this API key. So this statement allows us to set the API key. Now we can save this file. And let's copy the rest of the source code. So we need to copy till the catch block. Now let's create a new class. So this class will be used by other classes, so it is a service and we can create it in the services folder. Let's call it email sender. Then let's create a method that is public and static that allows us to send emails. So we can either use an ordinary method or a static method. If we create a static method, we can use it without creating an instance of this class. So we can use a static method. It returns nothing, so the type is void, and we can call it SendEmail. Then let's paste the source code. So this method requires several parameters. Let's add them. So we need the sender email address, the sender name, the receiver email address, the receiver name, the subject, and the message that we want to transmit. Now let's update this source code. So we don't need the sender name because we have it just here, and we don't need the sender email because we have it just here. So let's delete these two variables. Also, this is the sender. So let's rename this variable and let's call it sender. And let's provide it with the sender name, which is this variable, and the sender email, which is this variable. Then let's do the same thing with the receiver. So let's delete these two variables and let's call this variable receiver1. Then let's replace to email with receiver email. And to name becomes receiver name. Then let's add this receiver to the list of receivers. So let's copy it and let's paste it just here. So let's delete this variable and let's paste receiver1. Then we don't need BCC or CC. So let's delete useless code. So we can delete all of this code. So this variable is the HTML content of the message, and this is the text content. In our case, we don't have the HTML version, we only have the text version. So for this variable, we can set it to null. And let's initialize text content with this variable. Then let's delete the code till the try-catch block. So let's delete from here till this line. Then let's replace this variable with this one, which is sender. Then this is the list of the receivers. We don't have BCC, so let's replace it with null. And also we don't have CC, so let's replace it with null. Then here we have HTML content, which is null, text content, which is equal to our message. Then we have subject, let's replace it with this variable. And the other parameters are optional, so we can delete them. Then we can delete the debug statement. Then let's delete this statement. And in this statement, we can add a description of this message. So we can write Brevo response, for example. Let's do the same thing in the catch block. So let's delete this. Let's delete this as well. And here let's add a description of the message. So this is all for this file. Let's save it. And now let's use this method to send a confirmation email when we receive a contact. So let's go to contactus.cshtml.cs. And just after saving a new contact in the database, we can send a confirmation email. So first we need the receiver email and the receiver name. So the receiver email is available in contact.dto property.email. So let's copy this. and let's paste it here. Then we need the receiver name. So the receiver name is the first name and the last name. Then we need the subject and the message. So the subject will be contact.dto property.subject, and in the message we can write dear the receiver name, we can write some text, and then we can send a copy of the submitted message. So the submitted message is contact.dto property.message. Now to send the email, we need also the sender email and the sender name. So the sender email and the sender name are already available in appsettings.json. So this is the sender email and the sender name, and we need to read them from appsettings.json. So to read appsettings.json from this file, we need to request an object of type iConfiguration, and we can request it in the constructor of this class. So this is the constructor. Just here we can request iConfiguration. Let's call it configuration, and let's use it to read the sender email and the sender name. So first let's create two fields where we will save the sender email and the sender name. So they are private and read only of type string. Then let's initialize them in the constructor. So sender email is equal to configuration, then brackets, and between double quotes we have to provide the keys. So let's copy this key, let's paste it here, then colon, then sender email, and let's paste it here. So like this we can read the sender email. But here we have a warning. This is because the result of this statement will be a string that can be null, but here we have a string that cannot be null. So to get rid of this warning, we can just add exclamation mark. Now we can copy this statement and let's paste it. And let's do the same thing with the sender name. Now we can use the sender email and the sender name to send the emails. So here we can use our email sender dot send email. Then as the first parameter we need the sender email, which is our field. Then the sender name. Then we need the receiver email, which is this variable. Then the receiver name. So this is the receiver name. Then we need the subject and the message. So this is the subject and this is the message. Now let's save the file and let's test the application. Now let's fill the form. So in the email address, I will use my email address to be able to receive the confirmation email. Now let's click on submit. So here we have this success message. Now let's take a look on my email account. And this is the received email. So here we have the subject, this is the sender name, this is the sender email, and it has been transmitted using SendinBlue.com. So this is the first part of the message, and this is the copy of the submitted message. So if you did not receive the email, then you can check the spam folder, otherwise you can check the console. So in my case we can see that I don't have any error, and this is the Brevo response.